Over 30% of Albuquerque residents are millennials. And if you are like me, you are a young parent and you're looking to move to the city, you're going to want to know these top things to be aware about or things that you're going to want to look forward to, especially when it comes down to moving here. So grab your pen and your pad and let's get into today's video.
You know, moving to a whole new city can be super stressful. I get it. I understand, especially if you're moving with kiddos. And you might want to know what all the best schools are, what areas you should potentially look into, and price points. All of that stuff is very important. And I got to remind you guys that if this is your first time tuning into the Living in Albuquerque channel, welcome. Do yourself a huge favor and hit that subscribe notification bell down at the bottom. That way you guys never miss out on any videos, because we are dropping videos like this every week, talking about what Albuquerque has to offer and things you should be looking out for, right, if you are planning on moving down here. And as much as I love doing these videos for you guys, I would love to also help you out with your real estate needs. So that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails. So if you are planning on moving down here within the next year or so, I'd love to hop on a quick Zoom call to really discuss all of this into detail. But let's talk a little bit more about what you should expect when you are planning on moving down here with your family. Now, one very important question that I get asked all the time is, Eli, where should I live? Where should I even look into? It's going to count on a few basic things, and it's getting a little hot out here, so let's head back into the office and cool down for a little bit and go over these things in a little bit of detail.
Where you live is really going to come down to a few things, whether it's your lifestyle, the school your kids are going to, or just amenities or price point. You're going to want to think about all this in hindsight, because it's some key factors that a lot of the parents that we talk to on our Zoom calls to determine whether they're going to be moving to one side of the town or the other. So kind of encapsulating it all, giving it to you in a nutshell. If you are looking for somewhere where it's a little bit more affordable, kind of that mid to low 300s range, you want it to be a little bit more newer, you want some more amenities, the west side of Albuquerque is going to be somewhere that you're looking for, especially because they have newer schools on that side of town. You are looking at Volcano Vista and Bosque, which Bosque is a private school, but nevertheless, these schools are updated and got state-of-the-art and got some pretty cool stuff to offer to the kiddos in terms of them going to school there. Now, the east side, still a great side. This side of town is going to be a little bit more urban. You're going to have older established neighborhoods. They are going to be a little bit more expensive. They can creep up into the mid to low 400s on that side of town, just really depending on where you're looking at, and less traffic, which is a big deal to a lot of parents who travel to and from work. And a lot of you are working from home, so all of this information is irrelevant to you. But for the few of us that do have to travel to the office, the east side of town is just going to be a perfect recipe for you not to have to deal with a whole lot of traffic, especially if you are planning on driving to the west side. In the morning, there's virtually going to be nobody on the road, and then it's going to be the same going back home. And if you do happen to catch yourself in some traffic, there's so many different ways to navigate it because you're not crossing the river that it's going to make it a no-brainer for you to want to live on this side of town. All right, now what about keeping the kids out of trouble and keeping them super busy? If you got a kiddo like mine who has tons of energy and you're always looking for something to do that's not going to be super expensive to just go and take them to an arcade and spend all this money just to win these little itty-bitty prizes. Believe it or not, if you can figure out a way to become a more of an outdoorsy person, you are just going to have a plethora of things to do. And for the majority of people that watch this channel, they tell me that, hey, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to have more accessibility to some of these outdoor things, the mountains, the rivers, the bosques, all that stuff. We really don't want to have to travel hours outside of the city just to get that type of fix. And for us, I know we are always on some kind of trail, and it's really just stepping out of our front doorstep and getting to them because they're not super far. And that's how it is in pretty much any neighborhood that you live in here in Albuquerque. So be aware that walking along the ditch banks, walking along the little arroyos down in the South Valley and the North Valley is actually a thing, and riding your bikes all over the city. The bike community here is super friendly. We actually have a coffee place that is only reachable by bike. Pretty cool things here. We also have the other stuff that you can take the kiddos to do, like the museum, Explora, which are two scientific kind of learning things that they have displays of dinosaurs. The Natural History Museum actually has a live T-Rex that is a big hit with the kiddos. My kids think it's scary, and they are just dumbfounded by the thought that this T-Rex is pretty much alive, even though it's an animatronic. And then Explorer, they get to do different projects and stuff like that. And we do also have a pretty legit zoo here. We got penguins, we got elephants, flamingos, all the things that you can think of, crocodiles. And then the botanical gardens, which is one of the best botanical gardens in the whole United States. Some article said that. Maybe if I find it, I can put it up here, or you can look for it yourself. But really, guys, there is going to be a ton of things to do here for you and the kiddos outside of the regular kind of like amusement park things. Oh, and we do have an amusement park here. Forget to tell you guys that we have Uncle Cliff's, and then we also have Hinkle Family Fun Center, which is more of an arcade kind of mini putt-putt golf kind of thing. But really, guys, there's a ton more to do here. And if you guys are struggling with ideas, if you are already living here or if you just moved down here and you just need to keep your kiddos occupied, feel free to hit me up and I'll give you some ideas. Now, at the core of Albuquerque and everything that New Mexico is going to be family values. And what does that mean and how does it translate to you moving down here? And it's a really good question because a lot of the events and a lot of the things that we got going on here citywide are usually pretty family friendly. So like all the farmers markets, the rail yard markets, Summerfest, different events that we got going on, the markets out in Santa Fe. All these events are going to be pretty much family friendly, so you don't have to feel uncomfortable in taking your kiddos to any one of these events. Now, they do have some adult events, but usually those are later on at night, and you can pretty much tell if you are a parent which ones are good for your kiddos to go to and which ones are not. So just keep in mind that the struggle of people moving down here is feeling like they don't have the community and the presence, and I can tell you this much, that me as a first generation Mexican American and not having a whole lot of family here, we usually were pretty good about making our friends and friends of friends family and creating our own group and really feeling welcome. The diversity within our groups is actually pretty crazy. So really putting that out there, that way you guys know that if you are wondering like, hey, what can we do with our kiddos and can we take them to do different events with us during like summer seasons now and heading into the fall? Yes, plenty of those, and especially going into the holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, Old Town just becomes this place of family and gathering that it feels so wholesome and hallmarky. On the same topic of community, guys, our food scene here is pretty diverse, and not only like the people, but there's so much to choose from, guys. When it comes down to it, our food truck scene is huge. Our small mom and pop shops, our restaurants that have been here forever, our staples, they are going to be very family friendly when you walk into these places. It almost feels like you're walking into your grandma's house, your little abuelita's house. It's so warm and so welcoming. And I got to warn you, because a lot of the foods are mainly spicy around here. So they'll ask you, would you like red, green, or both? And when people ask you that, they're asking you about the chili. So if you are a wimp and you can't take the chili, you're not like me, you're not going to ask for the green chili, then I highly recommend that you kind of keep those keywords in mind, especially if they ask your kiddos. But you never know, your kiddos might be like mine and they might take on that heat and that full force without you even knowing. So give it a shot. But they do have a kids menu at virtually any restaurant that you go to. There's going to be very few and far between restaurants that have kids menus, and those are usually the bougie type places like Antiquity, Ruth's Chris, and all that stuff. And I even think they do have like kids menus, but you got to ask for them. But just so you're aware, if you are planning on taking the kiddos out because you like dining at restaurants and stuff, breweries are even super family friendly, and they got bar food there. Like, come on, what else are you going to be needing when it comes down to just really getting integrated with the community and enjoying your time while you're living here in Albuquerque? I know what you're thinking. Halfway through the video, or even at the beginning of the video, you're like, what happened to Eli and what the heck is he wearing? Well, number one, my face. I messed up while I was shaving. I left this little pencil stash on accident last night, so I just decided to start fresh. But the shirt, guys, it couldn't be any more relevant to this video. Talking about family, traditions, things you should be looking for, our culture, which is the next topic that I want to talk about, is going to be centered around that, right? The family, the community, the traditions are super heavily rooted here. I mean, you're going to see it more so during the holiday season, that families are coming together, really loving on one another and supporting one another. And you're going to see it like in places like Old Town. Just they really create this community aspect, making it super inclusive and welcoming for everybody to come enjoy. And the man that I took this shirt from, I mean, that's what he was all about. Family, taking care of his family, making sure that his traditions were deeply rooted within his family, and just making sure that he was there for, you know, the people that he loved. And that's what he passed down to me. And one day my kids are going to be watching this video and say, and, you know, kind of shake their heads and laugh and remember who this shirt came from. But man, just having that aspect as far as part of being our culture, and it's very much alive and you can feel it within the spirit. I mean, people that come down here and just visit for a while, they're like, man, something about Albuquerque just feels different, but in a good way. And I'm here to tell you that living here for, you know, 30 plus years, that's it there. You're really not going to find that, you know, spirit alive anywhere in these major cities anymore. So that's what you're looking for, and that's what you're searching for. You'll find it here. I got a little bit gushy on you guys, and I apologize if you guys, you know, weren't coming here for that. But really, I just want to make sure that I give you guys everything that you are going to need when it comes down to living here in Albuquerque. Now, we didn't get into details about schools, ratings, neighborhood ratings, and all that stuff. That's where that Zoom call comes in place. And if you guys are wanting to know more about a specific area that you're interested in because you are planning on moving down here, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. And feel free to call or text at any time, because I love to make sure that you're getting all the information possible from a local source and not just some third-party blog that you find on the internet that is pretty much hating. So if this is you, I'm waiting to hop on that Zoom call with you guys, and I'd love to chat with you. But it's getting pretty close to quitting time, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.